Hello, this is Solomon Davis from Right Side Trading, where you can learn to trade on the right side with confidence. Today is April 13th, 2018, and this is my weekly trade review, where I review a morning NASDAQ trade, 9:30 Eastern opening trade. I'm looking at NQ and QQQ. The thing is, if that first 5-minute candle is green, I look to trade it up. If that first 5-minute candle is red, I look to trade it down. I do have some rules to maybe make it where it's a no trade, and if you've been watching these videos for some time now, you know that last month or so we've been getting all these greater than 10s. So a greater than 10 is one of my rules before, and I think it still should be. We're just in a volatile market at these times. That's a no trade. So I had to change up how do I want to trade that. The other thing that I found out, after about a month, maybe I'm not the quickest one out there, but I noticed that the best way to trade, in a volatile market is trade the future market, and you still use some of my same rules, that greater than 10, but I found ways of actually scalping that first 5-minute candle when it presents itself. It doesn't present itself every day. So some days I'm able to actually, I see it in the right place that I can actually take that trade, and then some days I can't. I have to wait for what I also call was my next best play. Then I'm looking to play off of support or resistance things. First of all, let me let you know, this is all about education. This is for education only. This is not a trade recommendation. This is just showing you some ways that we actually trade the market. If you've seen some of my videos out there, I trade other things other than just QQQ too. So this is just looking at one thing, trying to focus on it to give you a view of how we do things here and how I look at the market. Because trading is risky. You can and you will lose money at trading. So please check out a financial advisor, check with your significant other, make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I'll be placing, this is our website, contact us, put your email in here, get some free videos, get updates on when we're going to be doing stuff. And also, this is my YouTube page where I'll be placing the video out here. And just make sure it's up to date. Yeah, because I know I put a new video out here this morning. And the other thing is, like, share, do all those things that you guys do. And thank you for viewing. Let me just jump right over to the charts and let's take a look and see what. Nope, let's see what jump over. Let me start my slides like I normally do for the weekly trade review. Like I say, it's April 13th, 2018. This is going to be for the week of April 9th through April 13th. Visit us at rightsidetrading.com. Email me at solomon@rightsidetrading.com. Boom. Okay, like I say, this whole week, again, it was another one of those weeks where we had that first 5-minute candle was greater than 10. And when I say greater than 10, I'm looking at high of the candle and low of the candle to see, what's that range. If that range is greater than 10 points on the future market, it's a no trade for me. Because usually that's all I'm trying to make on this trade. That's why it's a no trade. And that's why I had to look at other ways of how. Then I used to have, I have what I call my next best play, and I also started looking into how can I just trade that first candle since it was moving so much. And also like this Friday we had actually had a doji, so the market is beginning to change. So let's just jump over into the charts and see what we see out there for this week. Let me go here. Let me go. Where are my charts? Where are my charts? There they are. Okay, I'm looking at, let me minimize this over here. Something else came up. I'm looking at here. First of all, we like looking at the big picture. First when I first start my day out, I always look at the big picture. What is the market doing? You need to know that. And what is the week doing? What was the previous week doing? That's what this black line is. That's my weekly line right here in the market. As you can see, we seem like we're trying to get back into an upward trend. This market, these are some lines that I was looking for the market to try to get back above. If it goes below, what was happening in the market. That's how I try to identify areas in the market for myself. I see the market is staying above this area right here, and it's tending to go up all week. Now I look back to the left, whatever candle I see over this way, I look for the market to go, has to break these highs over here before I think it's actually going higher. But I keep playing right now. I can play it to the upside the way I like playing the market. Just still have to be careful about my entry. And again, I'm just going to be looking for the market to break these highs, to break these highs, to break that high, to break this level. So that's just how it goes. That's what trading is all about. And I like looking at the future market because it's like almost 24/7. They take the weekend off, but it's overnight trading and all. I like looking at the whole thing there. And over here on QQQ, we look good too, still going up. Even though today we opened up kind of high, and if you look down on a smaller time frame, you'll see there was a area here where this market actually took off to the downside. As you can see from here, it just took off from the downside. So this is going to be a tough area for the market to get back above this area and go higher. So, but we're going to watch it, next week and see how things go. But it's definitely going back up. I got a little money flow thing on here. Look like money is going back into the market, if that really means anything. I'm not one big on a lot of different indicators, but this is one somebody was talking about money flow. And I said, do they have then I looked out there, I remember about a money flow index thing, and I said, let me put that on a chart so I can actually see what it is doing and see if it's actually telling me something. So that's what's happening. Let's go down to our daily and take a look at what's happening there. Do our reviews. Okay, this first 5-minute candle was green, but again, it's greater than 10. When I say greater than 10, I'm looking at this low to this high, and we can see 90 to here, greater than 10. That's definitely greater than 10. So again, that's a no trade. But now to see what actually happened. Let's just go forward. It actually went down a little bit, went down, came bounce back up, but it did finally go back up. So that's why I'm saying you got to get where you have a next best play. Put some indicators on your chart, see what indicators actually work for you, or contact us. We'll show you some indicators that we like using and things that we like using. I like using pivots. You'll see pivots, and you see I do have an indicator over here that I like using. It was showing that the market was at a top, and it did show it rolling over. But my thing is, do these green candles play out even after that fact? And it did. Again, the thing is, where's your entry? Let's move on to the next day, and I'll step through it over here on the step through it over here on the QQQ side. And it did go up to a place where it doji out and all. And let's just look at it over here right quick. It doji out again. So you would have been playing it, from based on where your entry is at, and then up to this area here when it dojis on you. That's the way I play it. Or your worst entry would have been around this area here, and you still got 5 or more points on that. And that's the thing that I've been seeing in this market here. And this is easier to do actually in the future market than it is with options and stuff. Option here, look at here. It went from 58.20 to 58.90, and that's 70 cents. You should be able to get around 35 cents on that option. If you got to be in and out, but they play around with the prices, so they're so inflated. Sometimes it's hard, but you can get that. But you got to be very, very patient and very, very good at what you select and how you get into those options. Let's move on to the next day, and that's enough of that going on anyway. Green. Again, we're looking at. We're looking at the bottom of this candle. Looking at the bottom of this candle went from 70 to 90. That's greater than 10. So again, that's a no trade. So we move on to the next thing, or we're going to be looking for our next best play. And but let's see how this actually played out. Also on this particular indicator, we're getting to get a squeeze, and at open it was already firing to the downside, coming back up, and then it fired again to the downside. So let's see how this actually played out. It did give you enough to again in the future market. It's all based on where you got that entry at. It went from, it's all, if we can do my 50% pullback, was one of the things that I'm looking at. And all, I like playing. If I don't get a pull, and again, I'm looking at this area here where the market didn't want to go any higher. You know, so that's 80 down to 50. That's over 30 points to the downside. So again, there are trades there. And if you had got in here at 80, you know, this candle or that candle, you shouldn't have got stopped out of that trade. That's one of the things that I'm looking at. You got to learn to manage your trades before you should put your stops. You know, what's your targets? And again, get where you don't, you know, don't try to hit home runs on these things the way this market is right now. But that was the play to the downside. On the phone, I'll call them right back. And let's go to the next day. We'll step through it over here. Let you see that it did do something over here. Again, 90 down. That's 59.90 down to 59.20. Again, another 70 cents. You know, that's coming quite familiar. But let's move on to the next day. Okay, on this side, we're green up. You know, and this was already going up. You know, again, this is one of those ones where you can get. I did do a video this week where I did do a scalp on on that first candle. This was like a nice one right here to actually to get that 10 points or more on there when you get it like that, and then what did it look like on the lower time frames. And let's see what happened on this particular day. You know, there it goes again. Worst entry, you know, here, you know, another entry, maybe 50% pullback, you know, but then from this level here, 66.05, 66.10, you know, if you're not nailing it, you know, still to 66.40, you know, and this is when you'll be looking to get out of that trade as soon as you get here, 66.30. So that's easy 25 points on that trade. Let's look at this in the future market. That's the thing that I've been seeing, you know, and you're not getting those stop outs. It's not coming back if you get here. You know, you're putting your stop down below here, or over here if you put in here, and you're getting your stop down here below here. But you got bigger stops. That's the other thing. That's another reason why I didn't like playing these first 10-point bar candles. I gotta look for my next best entry to get into these things, the next best play. But let's move on. Again, greater than 10. We look at from the low of the candle to the high of the candle is what I look at. You know, so that's 27 to 37. That's 10 points there. If you look into that, but we almost went to 47. So we almost went to we almost did 20 points on that trade. On that first 5-minute candle. So now the next thing is where do you actually put your entry at? So let's step through this. If you're going to play it to the upside, if you didn't get into that thing, look like a right away, or if you, like this is the other thing that I'm looking at. I'm looking at 50% pullback on that body. Can I enter there? Worst case, can I get in at the close, like I always do, at the close of that candle? At the close of that candle, worst case, and that was a possible entry. You know, 36 to 56. Again, that's 20 points, and looked like it even went higher. You know, and a lot of times, all I'm looking to get is 10 points. But again, it even went higher. Over here on QQQ side, you know, it's all, again, options are a whole different ball game. Say around this 61.50, you know, from 61.50 to 62.30. That's 80 cents. You know, again, with a 0.5 delta or better, you should get at least 40 cents on that trade. Let's go on to the next one. And this looks like Friday. Friday was our doji day. Again, you can easily see, I'm looking at this candle here in the body. And when you look at a doji, how to define a doji, open and close, you know, between open and close, what it needs to be $1 or less. So I'm looking at here, close. Let me do that again. I'm looking here, close, and I'm looking at open when I have my marker on this right here. So now I'm looking at open and close. I'm looking at 67.0250 and 67.0275. So that's 25 cents. That's definitely less than $1. So that's a doji. This is what we call a doji. So when we see a doji like that, that's another no trade. This candle right here, that's a doji. So that's another no trade. Now we have to look, okay, what's my next best play? This market had been going up. you know, and then did a little bit of a pullback here, you know. And so now, I got a video out there, so check my video out. I showed you how to do a bad trade, and I showed you how to do a good trade on this one. Again, this is just a scalp. You know, you'll see on my video I talk a little bit about, okay, I coulda, shoulda, you know, took a short up here because this is one of my pivot lines. This right here is this is my pivots that I created. This right here represents my yesterday's low. This is right here is what I call my H1. I know it by its green, and it's above yesterday's low, and it's above the open. The open is somewhere down here, I would assume. And so again, up here's where you would normally be taking your shorts to the downside to trade this thing down. To trade this thing up, let me squeeze in a little bit. Let me do that. Where you can see there was I went to the wrong way. Let me make sure. Yep, I'm on the right one. But let me do this. Yep, that's good. And I'm still on 5 minutes. Let's look at this here. You know, this down here was the area. Well, right here was the area where I was looking to take a quick up trade on the video. You know, because I wanted to come down to yesterday's high. Let me clear up the screen a little bit so where you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going a little bit more. Right here on my first opening trade, I was looking for the market to come down here to this area and not go below this area right here, this blue line right here, and take a trade. I took a trade there. But I actually took, if you watch the video, you'll see I took a few other trades before I got into that. I took another trade before I got into that trade and explained why you shouldn't do that, because this is what they call a resistance area. You know, the market didn't want to go up above here. The market turned over here, and the market came up here again on that first 5-minute candle and pushed down. So again, the better trade was to the downside this morning. You know, but and that's another reason not to trade a doji in any direction until you find out what's your next best play. So this downward trade would have gave you a nice trade in the future market all the way down here. It went from 67.09 all the way down to 66.27. You know, that's what 70, 80 points almost. You know, that's what you look for. You know, when you got your indicators, you gotta find you some indicators. Come to us, and we can help you find some indicators. You know, to trade this market. But that's all I really want to share. I just want to show you that. Again, and let's take a quick look over here and up. Let me just take a quick look over here on QQQ and see how that played out. Again, it bounced around up here. This black line on here on QQQ, they're going to be a little bit different and all, because this black line, all it is an opening line for me. This blue line here, same on the other one, represents yesterday's high. So on QQQ was just like this one, was trading a little bit above yesterday's high, and as you can see, it didn't want to go above any higher, and it ended up coming back down. So it did what a lot of times things do. It goes from pivot to pivot. You know, so that came from 63 down to 62.28. So that, again, that was 80 cents, 70. Again, that's 70 cents that it likes moving. So getting that 30 cents on a 0.5 delta or better is doable in this market right now with the moves that it's making. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I think I covered every day a little bit more detail than I normally do. Again, every day was a no trade. Last Friday was this Friday was a doji. See the video? I did put a video out there where I did some extra trades on that. Other than that, you know, if you're interested in getting some coaching from me, some live training from me, this is what I have to offer. You know, one session of I talk a little bit about, I help you set up your platform, order entries, order exits, and on the video I show you a couple different ways I actually do some order entries and order setup, order exits. I don't show the setup, I just show you how I execute them. I show you how talk a little bit more about how I look at support and resistance. I talk about a few candlestick patterns that I like seeing in the market and trading off of. Also, how I go about selecting options for day trading, because I do use options sometimes in my trading. Options are risky. You know, you need to read that option characteristic little pamphlet, because options, there's a whole lot more to them than what most people either. They tell you, but I don't think most of us don't get it really at first. You know, I say most people don't get it at first. It happens, and I'll leave it just at that. And then we do some live practicing, you know, of some trades and stuff. If you're really interested in any of this stuff, contact me, Solomon at Right Side Trading. And that's all I really have. Again, like I say, this is my weekly trade review. The day is April 13th, 2018. This is for the week of April 9th through April 13th. You know, any questions, any comments, you can email me or make comments on the YouTube page. Other than that, I think that's all I really wanted to present. I hope you guys have a great weekend. You know, check us out. I'll be posting this out here on my YouTube page. Also, I'll be posting this. Visit us at this Right Side Trading. If you want more, get more information about us and things that we do, put your email in here, and we'll be emailed. We don't send a lot of emails, but we do send, you know, weekly things that we're doing. You know, just kind of give you our view on the market and stuff that we're looking at, which can be helpful. And other seminars and webinars and things that we actually try to get ourselves involved in. I'm actually looking to do one next month, so if you get on our list, you'll get that update when that actually going to happen. So other than that, again, thank you for viewing. Have a great weekend and have a great week trading. Have a good one. Talk to you guys later. Bye.